hoping that in the next sort of like 15-20 minutes I'll be able to give you some information and an insight to actually living with dementia. I was actually diagnosed 3 years ago, but I've been very, very lucky in that I've had the medication, Aricept, which has kept me, I think, in almost a plane where I feel very, very comfortable. Some of the problems that I actually have, though, are one, I can no longer read a book. Why? Because when I put a book to my face, it all goes here, there and everywhere, and I sit there and think, this is rubbish, and throw the book away. What I have learnt is to stop throwing the book away, because I'm not going to be able to read well ever again. That's a fact. So rather than kick myself, move that to one side and go and do something different, something that I can do and something that I can enjoy, like going out and talking to people with dementia. But give you one or two things to show as well that I have a real problem in knocking things like cups of tea over. Now again, you think to yourself, well, why would that be a problem? Because you can see what a cup is and you know what's happening. But for some strange reason, with the problem that I've got, I can be reaching for that cup of tea and I can see it. And my hand goes out and somehow Mr. Brain decides to go somewhere else. Mr. Brain goes there and the tea goes all over the place. How do I manage that? I only drink cups with half of tea now, so I don't get scolded. Only a thing to actually help myself, of course. But imagine being in my position where I know that I'm going to knock something over. Not every time, of course, but quite a few times. I also have problems when I'm out walking. One, because I've got this problem with the dementia, and I'm also partially sighted, which doesn't help. But when I'm out walking, I have to make sure that I'm looking down at the ground all the time. And people that know me are shouting from the cars, "Hi Chris, are you all right? Beep, beep." And I just keep looking at the ground. Why? Because if I don't do that, I'll fall over. And I have fallen 2 or 3 times. Luckily, not badly. But again, it sharpened that situation up when I think to myself, I know I'm going to be safe and I know I'm going to put my foot down in front of me and make sure that I'm not going to fall again. But I also have a problem as well in distance. And I'll give you a reason why. I live nearly next to the canal and I walk out there with my dog. We usually walk about 6 miles a day actually, and he's great, he helps me as well. But sometimes when we're walking, there's either people on a bike or people walking or things that are moving in front of me. So what I usually do, because I'm quite a polite person, I move out of the way with our dog there and I'm there. But my problem is I can't work out what this thing that is coming towards me actually is. And even though it's getting nearer and nearer, I still can't. And I'm looking because it's dark. I can see that it's something moving, and eventually it gets up to me. And it's a tree. And the tree says, "Hello, Chris." And I say, "Hello, tree." Can you imagine being a point where you've been walking for the best part of 50 yards, unable to see in front of you clearly, right? And when you get to the point when I was near as that, that's when I can actually see what's going on. I think it's one of those situations as well with dementia that I was very lucky in that I worked for the NHS. Just to take it a little different was that I was diagnosed and it was the worst day of my life. Not only just having the fact that I'd got dementia, but the fact that I wouldn't be working with the patients anymore.
You were telling me that when you go for walks now, you tend to stick to
walks,
certain routes.
Yes, indeed.
Car-free.
Yes, absolutely, because I've got 6 walks that I have, and only one of them has got one time when I have to cross a road. Now again, with the problem that I have, not being able to judge distance or speed, you can imagine how difficult that is to someone, because, let's face it, the cars are going faster on the roads. There seem to be more cars than ever, of course. But because I can't judge that situation of, is it 100 metres or is it 50? And I'm there getting myself all worked up, thinking, you know, am I going to be safe, etc. The other problem I have, of course, then, is that if I do have to cross the road, and there's no chance of me not being able to, I have to make myself strong enough to get myself very, very safe, even if I have to stand there for 10 minutes and make sure that there's nothing coming that way, there's no sound at all. But the sad part about it is, the minute I put my foot onto the ground, away from the actual step down, my brain goes straight into a dizzy one, if you like. And I have to fight that to say, I am safe, I'm going to get across here, there isn't anything coming, but my brain's saying, oh yes, there is, Chris. And it is very, very difficult.
You're describing panic.
Yes, very much so. And to me, I find that panic is like that, in a split second, and it's there. The problem, of course, is that the worse it gets, the more you panic.
What about, you know, if you're walking steps, curbs?
Very, very dangerous. That's generally where I fall. Mainly, again, because different roads have got different step-ups. It's not all the same height, is it? But it might sound ridiculous, but I'll look down at the road and think, right, I've seen the particular curb, etc. I know where it is, and then I go forward and stumble because I haven't been able to put my foot on top of it squarely or it on it at all. And you think, come on, Chris, how can you be in that position? And the only way I can describe it is that, again, the panic has said that, yes, you've moved your leg there, but I don't want you to do that. And again, I get to the point where I'm thinking very, very, well, almost to the point where I could be sick. I've never actually done that, but it really is. Because again, I think back, as a child at 3 and 4, I learned how to cross the road. And now I'm finding it very, very difficult to actually deal with that. But you've got to deal with it, because otherwise we'd just be sat at home all day.